Mr. Garamendi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listening to the testimony and the questions, it came to my mind, oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Here we are. We find ourselves faced with $1.2 trillion to invest in infrastructure. And so the ports can't get it all done today, so there are some complaints to be sure. The state's trying to push the money out, and the contractors faced with a significant increase in contracts available to them, so much so that the various materials necessary to build the systems become expensive. Demand. Oh, happy day. $1.2 trillion. Water Resources Development Act moving along. Job shortages? No. People to do the jobs? Not available? Happy day. People have an opportunity to get a job. There are programs to train people. Oh, happy day. It's in the legislation that's been passed. You think about what's happened over the last 2 years with legislation. Yes, we have implementation problems, no doubt about it. But those implementation problems are really the result of an enormous amount of federal investment that is available for the ports, on the dock, in the water, dredging, rail lines, crossings, states flush with money from the federal government to build the systems. But yes, there are implementation problems. And contractors faced with significant demand for the goods and the services to build the systems. Happy day. Yep, but there's still problems. I want to go into one of them. I see my colleague, Mr. Johnson, has left at a most inopportune moment. Perhaps he'll return. But 2 years ago, we worked on the Ocean Shipping Reform Act. He's back. Hello, Mr. Johnson. I'm about to say good things about you and the new legislation that we have. Mr. Tucker, thank you so very much for bringing to our attention the issue of the implementation of the Ocean Shipping Reform Act. Again, happy day. A major piece of legislation was passed, and now we have to update it. I would appreciate if you could comment. I guess this is really to the majority party. Mr. Johnson, I know you're pushing hard to get this bill off the floor so that we can put into the Coast Guard bill. So let's see what we can do. Mr. Tucker, talk to us about the implementation of the Ocean Shipping Reform Act and the next steps that are in the bill. And thank you very much for endorsing, your organization endorsing the bill. This is 1836.
Thank you. I'll quote, before I get too deep, I'll quote Dirty Harry and saying, a man's got to know his limitations. I am far more a trucking and surface transportation mind than ocean. That said, I'll let you know that TIA supported the Ocean Shipping Reform Act by Congressman Garamendi and Congressman Johnson. TIA members were hesitant about more government regulations, but welcomed the legislation text about creating a definition of unreasonable demurrage and detention fees and trying to reverse the trend of a few ocean carriers using retaliatory practices against manufacturers and shippers. These shipping laws have not been updated in more than 20 years. Also echo your oh happy days because I'm old enough to remember the years and years and years of continuing resolution without vision. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Edwards, our former chairman, Chairman DeFazio, after about 20, maybe almost 30 years, was finally able to take the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund and apply it for more than just the harbor itself, but also for the port and the infrastructure associated with it. So I'm curious about the implementation of that Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund and the changes that occurred in WRDA 2020. The new WRDA is coming up. Do you have recommendations on how we might better implement the existing laws and changes in the WRDA, the new WRDA that we'd be dealing with?
Thank you, Congressman. I think, firstly, we were delighted when the changes came forward because we are an energy port, and therefore we can receive harbor maintenance tax dollars for the purpose of investing in our hard infrastructure. Noting the time, what I would comment, I would be happy to come back to you in writing, but also stay at this time that the distribution of those funds perhaps is something we just need to free up a little bit so we can get that money to work, and we're ready to put it to work.
I see my time has expired. Yield back.